Welcome to Everyday Heroes, presented by Kofkin Bond and Company. Today, we're joined by the remarkable Lisa Teh, former tax lawyer turned creative powerhouse. Lisa is the co-founder of Codi Agency, one of Australia's leading digital and AI-driven marketing firms, and the author of the inspiring new book, Get Real, featuring the stories of 30 groundbreaking female founders. From navigating the corporate world to redefining how technology and creativity intersect, Lisa's journey is proof that success comes from courage, curiosity, and authenticity. Let's dive into her story. Enjoy the podcast.
Lisa, take two. Welcome to Everyday Heroes Kofkin Bond podcast. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you. Yes, I think we ended up just chatting the whole last session and we didn't even get to record anything.
No, we forgot to press record, didn't we?
So, yes.
That's a great conversation, as we always have.
Great conversation. Glad to. And can I say, for anyone who's not watching the video, we are dressed exactly the same, completely unplanned, both in blue, navy blue pinstripe sort of suit.
You do pull it off far better than I do.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, no, you do.
I think it's very sharp, so definitely worth checking out the video.
Thank you. It's very rare that I wear a suit and tie on a Friday, but I was at a charity event this morning, so it was. But yeah, it's so I put on the suit and tie, and it was interesting walking down Collins Street. There were a few other people in suit and tie on a Friday, so I thought I'm not the odd one out down Collins Street today.
I like get dressed up.
Oh, so do I. But I got asked last night at dinner. Here we go chatting again. So I got asked last night at dinner, and they said, why do you wear a tie? And I said, because you know how people like hipsters used to say, I dress like this because I'm different, and then they all look the same. You know, they'll go and spend $400 to look like they're poverty stricken and bought their clothes in the op shops. I said, have you noticed that no one wears ties nowadays? So by wearing a tie and doing a proper knot, you actually stand out a little bit.
Nice. You could be single-handedly bring the tie back.
Single-handed. I've got 60 of them, actually. I'll shout out to Sam Hobber. I get them personally made and sent over to me. Yeah, so it's a big shout out. It's actually David Hobber, but the business is Sam Hobber. But he does a wonderful job, and he always sends me appreciative messages. So it's personal messages. He just sent me one a couple of years ago, and he said, Tony, I've noticed the length you've added an extra inch this time in tie length than what your normal order is. Is this right, or is it a mistake? I said, thank you for pointing that out, David. I've put on a few kilos, yes. So he goes, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I said, I have every intention of losing the weight, but I was stuck on a couple of kilos. So yes, the tie has been lengthened a little bit. Yeah, so let's talk about you.
I'm happy to talk about you, honestly.
No. So no, not at all. This is about you today. So this is the problem when you're actually interviewing somebody who has done her own podcast in this case, because we just chat. We don't know who's interviewing who in the end.
Exactly. Which I think sometimes can make for a good conversation, though.
It does, but we should actually talk about you now, because this is what we did last time. Now, you are very creative. You've got Codi Agency, so we've read your bio out just prior, so people have heard what your bio is. But for somebody who is so creative, owns a digital agency and, one of Australia's most renowned digital agencies, you started in tax law.
Please don't tell everyone that. Cut that out.
Well, no, I told you there's no edits, and you're allowed to swear if you want. But tax law, KPMG, Ashurst, how do you go from doing tax law? Why tax law to start with? And then how do you go from tax law to being in this amazing creative field and doing tax law and having the personality you have? That just doesn't happen.
Well, I firstly don't think I have a very interesting personality, so maybe that's why I went down that path. But I did have. My parents are quite conservative, so I wanted to be a fashion designer actually, but I can't sew, so that was like a little bit challenging. I did used to make my own clothes, but they weren't very good. So I did have a very good tax lecturer at university, and he made tax seem interesting. So I blame him. I don't know how he managed to do it, but I ended up going down the tax path, and I think I never felt like I really fit in the corporate world. So
even in your fashion that you wore to work that you made yourself.
I definitely don't wear anything I made. It would just literally probably fall apart on the spot. No, it was like probably 20s. I started 2007. So it was very conservative, typical sort of.
You mean blue pinstripe suits? Is that what you're saying?
We have like more fun versions of suits now, but back then I think I think because I did try and have a bit of personality with what I wore, but I think it can make you a target in corporate. Like if you have too much of a personality. So I'd have a whole lot of different shoe options under my desk. And I think people can think, okay, well, she probably doesn't take her job that seriously because she's so into, fashion. And I see it as a way that, I can express myself. So I personally just love it as a form of creative expression. But yeah, so I was in tax for 7 years, and it really did give me a good foundation in business. So now, for example, I can check contracts, draft contracts. Uh, I really appreciate things that I would say, not to say there's a less appreciation for like finer details now, but I look at the way Gen Z text and things like that. There's no punctuation. And so I'm come from that, I guess, old school world where at KPMG, they were like, you need to make sure the margins on this document are right. The margins between the lines are right. The punctuation's like this. The brand is displayed like this. It was so particular and pedantic. And I think I took little things like that into starting my own business. So I think
make sure the decimal point's not in the wrong place.
That's a really big one. That's definitely a very big one. So I think it was good from that foundation perspective because I wouldn't say I was like the most mature person. I'm definitely not even mature now, but I don't think I knew what I wanted to do. So it helped me get time out in a professional environment where I could learn how to analyze documents, create reports, learn how to present to different stakeholders. And so I think that was good, but I just never felt like I was in the right industry. Like I wasn't jumping out of bed in the morning excited to do tax. I don't know who is really, to be honest. But so from that side of things, I think I was always in the back of my mind thinking I might do something different eventually.
I found a lot of and you've probably seen this yourself even more so than me, but a lot of really successful businesses which have started from scratch and really grown into great businesses today. A lot of the business owners have come from accounting or business management backgrounds. They actually have learned that structure, gone to university, not necessarily being tax accountants, but learning that structure and having that sort of business mindset and business management background seems to really abode well into being self-employed too.
Yeah, definitely. And it's actually quite interesting because I think about when, say people like you and I started our careers, there was barely any information on starting a business on the internet. Like the internet was like pretty much barely even around. Oh my God, it make us sound like dinosaurs. Social media. Well, when I started
Right?
KPMG,
No,
Facebook just started. So
well, I'm so old, Lisa, that when I started in the industry, we didn't have desktop computers, and there was no such thing as the internet, and there certainly weren't laptops, and there was not mobile phones.
well, see, it was so different back then.
We did have color TVs.
So
I'm not that old.
So, well, I just think the young God, I really sound old with this podcast. The young people of today have a huge advantage because there's so much information available at their fingertips. I think that's the saying. Social media, like there are so many founders building in public, sharing all the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's information readily available on the internet. There's AI, but when we were starting our companies, it's like there's none of that. And so to try and find information on how to start a company outside of what's in like a textbook, like it was really, I think, challenging. So I think having that sort of corporate foundation really helped.
It is interesting. We've just promoted a young fella in this organization, Shay, and when we're talking about, I said, Shay, here's the vision. I'm sharing everything with you. Now, Shay is a mathematical genius, an engineer, basically, has a great personality, is a power golfer, a good-looking young kid, just got married on last week. Yeah, so it's, you know Shay very well. I said to Shay, think of it this way. I'm smart enough to know what I don't know. I might actually say I'm smart enough to know that I'm dumb, but but it's more the fact of that me speaking to you and the other groups that we interviewed as an example, I could be sold. Whereas Shay's analytical. So even though he's got a great personality, and he openly said, Lisa isn't the cheapest, but her and her agency are the ones that I have, I warm to the most and actually wanted to work with the most. So, from that perspective, it was, so as an example, anyone can put AI beside their name, and I'm old enough to remember the tech boom that happened. All you had to do was put .com beside your name and you sell for $50 million. But it seems to be that, your business has certainly evolved from where it is to where it is today. And 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 it's going to continue to evolve as well. Well, otherwise you'll end up being a dead business. Do you have you're young enough and got knowledge enough to be able to do a lot of stuff yourself? But as you said, you've seen changes. As you said, Facebook just got launched when you first started KPMG and things like that. Are you seeing though that a lot of younger people are coming to you, or are they waiting for you to lead them?
In terms of like service offering, what we can
Correct.
do.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Opportunities, threats,
Yes.
things like. Or are they just waiting for you as the leader?
They're actually significantly smarter than me.
I'd just say me
So
just opposite.
I am the least smartest person in the whole company,
And
and that
isn't that
makes me
wonderful?
very excited.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so it's virtually the last part of everyone's, job description here to make Tony look smarter than he actually is.
Seriously though, it's fun when you work with people that are smarter than you. It's exciting, and I would say most of my team and I try and create this, I guess, environment and hire people that I can give ownership to. And a lot of time they come to me going, "Hey, we should sell this or we can sell that," because I'm one person who admittedly spends a lot of time online, but still that's just x amount of hours a day online looking for new opportunities. Whereas if I can multiply that by having my team all the same, like I'll say I pretty much will never turn down anyone's ideas. Like I'm always happy to try something unless I fundamentally know, no, this is definitely not going to work. 99% of the ideas will come from what my team suggests that we sell or how we pivot and change. And every time a new person comes into the team, I always say, please review everything. Do not take anything that we're saying as gospel. Like we should be evolving, and everyone that comes in should be offering a different perspective. And actually, I had a friend that worked at Uber Eats, and he was saying the way that Uber hire isn't for like a culture fit. They hire for culture add. So if your culture fits, a bit like an echo chamber. So I always try and hire people that can add something, can have different perspectives, different obviously upbringing or different experiences. And so hopefully I feel like that has created an environment where people feel like they can actually have an impact on what we sell, how we sell it, etc.
Well, I actually think that's important for business growth, but also us as leaders, our personal growth. Like I've said to all the team in here, don't ever hide an idea from us. Come to us with an idea. It doesn't mean we'll implement it. It doesn't mean we'll implement it now, but I'm not saying that I treat them like my children. My children are their age, if not older. But it's more the case of that. I used to always say to my children, if I promise something, if I say yes, it's a promise. It's a yes. It's going to happen. If I say no, I'll give you no and a reason. If I say maybe, it's usually yes. We just have to work out how. And that's the same sort of philosophy I've taken in here. Come to us with an idea, and it's not as if I say no, there's going to be a reason behind it. We will look at it, we will research it, and we'll say no, it might just be the wrong timing. It doesn't matter what it might be. But if we say yes, the point is we can. And this business over 33 years has kind of evolved because people have said, have you thought about this? Well, no, I haven't, but let's look at it. So it's and so entrusting people like Bella, entrusting people like Vaughan and Jordan and Shay and Boyan, it's actually really important for us, I think, as business leaders to be able to do that.
Yeah, and you've obviously created a safe
Otherwise,
environment.
we're really way too arrogant to run a business.
For sure, you can't have an ego, like we need to be willing to do. If you're getting someone to do a task, you should be willing to do it. Whether or not
Excuse me.
you can do it to their ability is different, but you need to be willing to do anything as a business owner. I think
Absolutely.
that's, I think really key.
I think so too. I've always said to everyone here, I have done all of your jobs, but when I was doing it was all paper based. So it's anyway.
We
So
love dinosaurs, don't we, on this podcast?
yeah, but I'm still about a generation of dinosaurs before you. I think I'm one of the 60 million years ago. You're only about 10 million years ago. So
I feel old.
you're one in your range. There is a book over my shoulder here, so I don't know. It's my actual left shoulder. I don't know what side's going to come out in the video. And it is called Get Real. Now, this is your new book, Get Real.
Yes.
It's just been launched.
Yeah.
So we actually held back on this podcast until the launch actually happened.
Yeah, thank you.
And I am going to get autographed, by the way. I noticed the other day you left it for me, but didn't autograph it. So I'm going to. No, it's you gave it to me as a gift. I shall have your autograph, and if that's okay as the author. But the core message you wanted to share, who did you actually write the book for? I mean, it's interviewing 30, exceptional female business leaders who have built their own businesses. But who did you actually write the book for?
That's a great question. And it's for anyone that's interested in business, regardless of gender, or anyone interested in stories of resilience, anyone interested in seeing how people that have been very successful view the world. So I didn't want it to be a book targeted at women, because if you go to the business section and you pick up a book off the shelf, most likely it's going to be written by a man, but we don't automatically go, oh, this is just for men. So we just assume it's for anyone who's interested in business. And so I just happened to interview 30 females, because when I was doing some research on the business book industry, 8 to 30% of books are honored by females. I was like, that cannot be right, because that is only giving a particular viewpoint of the business world. And I'm sure, plenty of amazing business women, and they've got some incredible and unique insights. And so I thought, you know what, I want to give them a voice and a chance to share their story. So hence why I decided to write the book. And I never like complaining about a problem I feel like I can fix. So I thought, I was annoyed that there weren't more stories honored by women. So I thought, you know what, I could just sit here and whinge about it, or I could actually do something about it. And so did Get Real.
It's interesting what you said there, because one of the things is a lot of people will look, and this, we call this podcast Everyday Heroes, and you're being one of mine, as I used to drive past you on Johnson Street on the other side of the road.
It's the worst driver as well. So glad you weren't on the same side of the road as me.
Well, the problem is you're such a bad driver, you nearly were.
See, sometimes I'll be like on the wrong side of the road. I'm like, where am I going?
Yeah, I've turned up to work sometimes, thought, how did I drive here?
Yeah.
So I was just off in my own little world, so it's so automatic. Yeah, exactly. But let's talk about the book. You've got 30 successful entrepreneurial women that you've actually interviewed in that book. But one of the highlight parts out of this is nobody starts a business and it's automatically successful, or very few. Those you can see people have done capital raises and burn their cash very quickly. And you've actually been involved in a lot of that. You've seen a lot of those and those opportunities. So sometimes people see the image, they see the success that's there, but they don't know the 10 years, 15 years, 5 years of absolute pain of 7 days a week, sometimes sacrificing family time. You're both a wife and a mum as well, and you're running your own business and you've got staff to look after, etc. So from that perspective, what are some of the sort of takeaways, or some things that you, not necessarily individual stories, but some of the things that you thought were really real takeaways that came from that and interviewing real people?
And you raise a really good point, because I feel like the founder journey's become really glamorized over the years, like with shows like Shark Tank, that girl boss era, the hustle culture, people sharing. I mean, yeah.
I'm also not a fan of sort of fake it until you make it. Just really work hard. So it's you can still have that end image in mind of what you want to be, but you still got to really work hard to get there.
Definitely, that's it. And so I would say, when I decided to write this book, I really wanted it to be real and raw. And so a lot of the stories, like I said to the women when I was interviewing them, I said, this is, an opportunity for you to share what it's really like being a founder, because, and you would know this, it's actually pretty crappy 99% of the time, probably 99.9% of the time. And then there's that like 1%, my maths isn't good, 1%, 99.
So there's the accounting in you.
So one was the time. It's amazing. Like, you might get a really big win, or you've got you see someone that you've watched grow from the start to do something amazing, and so like that 1% of the time, it's great. But then 99% of the time, it's like stressful. It's hard. You can't take a holiday without thinking about work or wondering what's happening in your inbox, and so or worrying about cash flow, or worrying about leads, whatever it is. So I think I wanted it to be an inspirational book, and people can read it and go, look, these are everyday people who've achieved their dreams. But at the same time, know that if they wanted to go down that path of being a founder or starting a business, it is bloody hard, as you would know. And like in this economy, it's, super hard. So, yeah, so I wanted to share that. I also spoke about, so in the book, there's interviews with 30 females, but there's also a guide on how to actually start a business and grow a business. So there's 8 chapters, and then under each of the 8 chapters, I've got the different interviews sort of spread out based on, what I found particularly interesting about one person's interview. So there'll be some that will be in the chapter about how to start an idea, someone how to market, someone how to capital raise, etc. But I think the women in there are just incredible at what they've done and what they've achieved, because it is hard as a woman in business, and
Oh, it very much is. And we were having
yeah.
this discussion, one of our previous long discussions we've had, but sometimes, there are specialist VC funds out there now that are specifically looking for women-founded businesses, which is wonderful to see. But I have found that sometimes females find it harder to ask for money, or it just seems to be, whereas males can be very brash and in your face, and tell anyone who's willing to listen about the next great thing. But sometimes, even when it comes to things like pay rises around the corporate world, I'm not going to speak up. Hopefully, they just notice how good I am and all the hard work that I'm actually
That's
doing.
it. Yeah, women are definitely not as good as putting themselves out there and asking for things. So I think that's definitely challenging. This is like a massive segue, but I thought it was actually quite interesting because I've been delving a lot into AI.
Yeah.
And I saw this post on LinkedIn and it was this woman and she'd put in to AI a question asking, what is the recommended salary for this particular job? And she listed out like the job title, the actual requirements for the job. And then she said it's for a man. And then she copied the same prompt and then pasted it into like ChatGPT, but just changed one word and that was from man to woman. And then the salary that it spat out as the recommended for woman was $20,000 less than it was for a man. Isn't that interesting? I was like, that is so interesting. Like,
I was actually at a conference on AI yesterday, and we are talking about biases and hallucination.
that's it. Yeah,
And even in respect to the way you ask the questions, or give the prompts to the AI based on your own personal biases.
definitely. But also, it's trained on data, which is inherently biased, obviously. So that's why it spits out a bias. It's not just making it up from nowhere, it's taking it from
The
data.
data has come from somewhere.
That's it. So that's the scary thing I think about AI. It can continue to, I guess, perpetuate stereotypes or perpetuate biases because that's just the data that it's trained on. So
And it also doesn't like to not give an answer. So sometimes those answers can be hallucinations, like they've taken magic mushrooms.
oh,
So it just keeps going and
that's
if
it.
you keep prompting it and prompting it,
That's it. Yeah.
and it can actually end up just making up answers.
That's it. And people just take it for granted or like as gospel, whatever it spits out, and they don't validate it or check it. And that's very dangerous.
Well, I think one of the things is that it's what comes out of AI is actually data. What comes out of us is feelings from experiences. So we've got our own. You and I can view something, whether it be political or something that happens, with the exact same eyes, and have two completely different emotional reactions to it,
Yeah.
based on our upbringing, our own personal traumas, our
Yeah.
own personal beliefs.
Yeah.
So see that same thing and have one person can be celebrating and the other person can be absolutely horrified in tears about it.
That's it. Yeah.
And I suppose that's what's come out just in the last 24 hours over the Charlie Kirk
Really
shooting,
interesting.
isn't it? How you've got
Really interesting.
some people out there on social media celebrating it, and other people out there, absolutely horrified. I mean, the murder of anyone is horrific, but it's just interesting how some people see that as glorification, celebration, and things like that. But that's what I'm saying. So, what you put into AI is based on your own biases, your own emotions. So, what will come out is how you prompted it to actually answer you in the first place at the moment.
That's it. I guess that's the
And
challenge.
thankfully, it doesn't have feelings.
It's just like evolving at such a rapid rate, which is interesting. But I guess it's going to be very, I'll be interested to see where it goes in the next even 6 to 12 months because there are some fundamental issues with it. I personally love it, but I'm obviously conscious that there's things that can go wrong if you use it.
On a personal level, I love it too. I do find it really useful, but I think it will only improve.
Yeah.
Actually, I was told, and I did watch it, the latest South Park series that came out, and there was one on there regarding one of the parents who basically ends up falling in love with AI.
Yes, yeah, that's happening.
Has the relationship with AI.
Yeah, that's happening.
And she was telling him everything he wanted to hear, and all of a sudden he's ignoring his wife. I mean, it was a South Park skit, but it was wonderful. And it was
It's
also
already happening though.
Yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
interesting. Yeah. But people are lonely and it's such a good way of making people feel like there's some sort of connection out
But
there.
people are lonely because of technology. Now, I've always said I grew up in the era where if I wanted to meet a girl, I actually had to go up and say, "Hi, I'm Tony," not just swipe right or swipe left.
Yeah, yeah.
Based on a photo.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you don't even know if that photo is actually an accurate
Yeah, that's true.
reflection of who that person was as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So it's
Different world we live in.
It is very much a different world. Let's talk about your Codi Agency. So we are clients of Codi Agency.
Thank you.
So
Love
thank
working
you.
with you.
Thank you. So it's I did get some good feedback though from your team, which was wonderful. So try not to make. It would be good when next time we do filming, Tony doesn't have a sunburned face. I just come back from Europe. I said, well, I'm glad they knew it was sunburn and not alcoholics poisoning because I'm not a drinker. So that was.
You don't drink?
Very, very rarely.
Interesting.
Yes, very, very. I've just never have been. My family never were. So I've been drunk, really drunk once, and that was my 21st birthday, which was quite a few decades ago.
Oh, yeah, it was my 21st.
Yeah, so that I do remember sort of waking up in a taxi outside my house. So someone told me the address.
That is good, at least.
Yeah, that's right.
You could have been anywhere.
Exactly right. So thankfully it was a taxi.
Yeah, that's interesting though that you don't drink as much. I'm finding more and more people going down that path, which is quite interesting.
I've never been a big drinker, and we're out for dinner last night. Everyone was drinking. In fact, they all got drunk. I just had my sparkling water.
Good on you.
Yeah,
That's hard because I haven't. I'm having a drinker for decades because I think I'm allergic to alcohol as well. But there's a lot of social pressure in Australia to drink, and unless you're literally a blanket, I don't drink. Then if they know you drink, there's pressure to try and drink.
Well, I actually got asked once by an industry colleague. So he said, don't you drink? And I said, no, I don't drink. In this case, I've got a nice little bar over there, but everyone else rages it, I don't. But I said, no, I'm just not drinking. He goes, not even when you get home after a hard day's work, a glass of wine? I said, no.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No glass of wine after? I said, no. And he said, is it for, health reasons? I said, no, I just choose not to drink. I just haven't been a drinker.
Interesting.
Is it for religious reasons? Are you Islamic? I said, no, I'm not. But no, I actually just choose not to. And he goes, were you an alcoholic once? I said, I don't drink. I don't actually have to give you a reason except for the fact is that I choose not to drink. So that's it.
It's interesting. And there's a weird social, I don't know if it's like a social observation I made that if people think you don't drink alcohol, they think you don't drink full stop. Yeah. So they only get drink orders from people that drink alcohol. It's so weird. I'm like, I'd love a water.
Correct. Yeah.
It's so strange.
But I'll still be out to 3 a.m. with them. Yeah, so that's not a problem. So
you would have seen a lot of people make idiots of themselves.
Absolutely.
It's confronting as a sober person.
Well, sometimes it's actually good. You can get some good photos on people and actually remind them of it the next morning and say, now this will become, oh yeah. So it's found out I won an award yesterday, and I was just wondering whether it's because I got a photo of the CEO.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So the mail.
What did you win?
I don't know yet because I wasn't at the conference, but I just got I included my Westpac pants. Oh, congratulations, that award. I said, what are you talking about? So he said, aren't you up in Hamilton Island? I said, no, I'm sitting in my office. And so I think it's the Pinnacle Leaders Award. So it looks like I'm off to London in June next year.
It's amazing. Very well done.
Thank you. But it was interesting because I said, maybe this is because, I got a photo in LA last year, the CEO, him giving me a big kiss, and I took a selfie of him giving me a big kiss. And I did promise him, if he annoys me, I will send this to his wife, Catherine, who I know very well. Yeah. Well, Andrew is not good with technology. So there was one instance we're at a conference in Adelaide and he left his phone on the bus and I picked it up and I was talking to his wife, Catherine, and I said, do you know his passcode? And she goes, yeah. So I put on his passcode. We took a selfie together and we had that as every time his phone rang, it was me and Catherine. And no one would take it off his phone for about 6 months. So every time the phone rang, he just saw me with his wife.
And that was quite restrained. Like you could have had your face as his wallpaper. You could have autocorrected.
Well, I am his favourite advisor in the entire country, obviously.
Well, you could also have set autocorrected words to autocorrect. So when he was trying to type something, it would just autocorrect to something really rude.
Well, that's technically good. But I don't think Andrew needs autocorrect. I think he's thinking right types. I don't think he blames autocorrect. I think he just types rude.
Is that right? Okay.
To me. No, he's a wonderful gentleman. And he knows exactly what I'm talking about and he listens to this podcast.
No. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Catherine, his wife. Okay, so let's talk about Codi. So Codi Agency, it actually has become a powerhouse in digital marketing. You've got some amazing clients, very large, well, both international, but, huge Australian clients as well. So you do have, but what do you think sets actually your team apart? Because it's a very competitive space now.
It really
so many people going into creative agency or digital marketing, the amount of approaches on a daily basis I get from LinkedIn, things like that. So, but What actually do you believe sets your team apart?
They genuinely care. Like, I just feel that we because you're right. Like, it's almost like a commodity. Like, similar, like services almost generally becomes like a commodity. So what is the secret power or USP is generally going to be your people. And my team are just incredible because they care almost like too much. We're very honest. I think a lot of agencies, especially in like I've got another agency which specializes in like Web3 AI, like we will actually say, we're not going to take your money. We don't want to work with you because you've got challenges with the product and we don't think you should even go to market in this way. And some companies have actually end up not launching a particular brand or product because of our advice, because we've just said you're going to waste your money. And other agencies aren't going to tell you not to do something because they see you as like a paid, like a checkbook, an open checkbook. And so like my team are almost like too honest. And I think I think that that's,
Oh, that's a
the
massive
best
positive.
way. I think so too, yeah, and so I would just say, just be honest with our clients. If you don't think we can help them, then I'd rather not pitch, and I'd rather just give them that feedback because I think they need to be wary of other sharks in the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, I personally love change. Like, I'm someone who I don't know if my team are, like, as excited by all my million ideas as possible. They're amazing.
You excited by shiny things?
Yeah.
Are you a June baby? You
I'm a January baby, actually. I'm an
Yeah.
Aquarian.
Okay, I'm a June baby. I think I was yeah, I saw that's why I'm always excited by shiny things.
Oh,
It's
really?
like, "Ooh, look at that." So
I think that's also a founder thing, like
yeah,
shiny object syndrome.
this is very true.
But I do love looking for the latest and greatest things for our clients. So I'll be the first to come to the team and say, hey, we need to be looking at AI, for example, or this platform, or trying image generation with this, or doing this, doing that. So I think having someone who is, you know, like living and breathing digital, trying to set that example, I think that's also really important. And I never hire anyone that isn't obsessed with social media or digital marketing because it's just really hard to teach. And if you're not immersed in it, like looking at it all the time, like that's the quickest way to learn realistically. I just say this isn't the right industry for you because it's moving so fast. Like
Yep.
tax law, you know, that only changes when the legislation changes. Like that's pretty dry. Whereas this, it's like all the time. AI moving like at the speed of light.
But I think that's one of the things is, you've been around, doing this for quite some time. So, you would have to have pivoted your business and pivoted the way, advertising and that works. I mean, even to the point where, I remember my old business many, many years ago, and I think it was Triple M rang me and said, "Oh, we'll get you into this time slot." Or in actual fact, you'll probably be better on Gold FM advertising during this time slot because of your demographic and teachers, and there's X amount of listeners, and here's how much it's going to cost. And it's just like that's such a shotgun approach. Whereas now it's a case of, Lisa, I only want my adverts to go to people who are 56 years old who live in the 3039, 3040.
Yeah.
You can actually have it so specific.
Who are
Yeah.
interested in XYZ, who, like 5 seconds of your video from the previous ad. Like, it's so crazy how specific the data can be, which is really powerful. And I mean, I think a lot of people have issues with social media platforms. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that they're perfect, but as a marketer, like, it allows us to get your message in front of your key target market at scale, and that is very, very powerful.
I remember I was listening to a podcast just recently. I liked listening to the Diary CEO of Steve Bartlett.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, and he was speaking about when he formed his, the media outlet, and he was in Manchester, and he's speaking to these big brands, and their internal marketing person was like, "Nah, we're still just going to do the adverts in the newspaper," So it's interesting because what you do was a disruptor. Now it's mainstream.
Yes. Yeah.
Now it's the radios are missing out on the advertising
Yeah.
space. The TVs, no one watches mainstream TV anymore. So it's people prefer to watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Clips all day.
Yeah.
From that perspective as well. So, but so you've had to pivot. But where do you see some of the trends sort of going now in this?
It's honestly hard to ignore AI. Like, everything's just even
I think you can be a bit of a Kodak moment if you do
you're
ignore it.
gone, and
Yeah,
you won't even be gone in 10 years' time. You'll be gone in, like, you could be gone in a year. Like,
yeah,
it's moving that quickly.
yep.
Just like the way that you can use it to create content, but even looking at search habits of people, because now you think about when previously you would Google something and then you'd show up on the goal was to show up on the first page of Google, but now they're talking about zero-click marketing because Google and platforms like Perplexity just give you the answer straight away, so you don't even click into websites anymore. So it's just becoming a very different ballgame when it comes to marketing. Then obviously you've got content created by AI, so it's going to be harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not real. Like actually talking about Charlie Kirk, one of the team just sent a video into our internal group chat, just going, this video of like Trump making the announcement about it looks so AI. Like it's crazy. I'm like, you can't even tell. Like I feel like it was AI, but you just, yeah, it's really hard to know what is real and what's not real. And it's like, is that going to be bad for the consumer, or is it going to be beneficial because smaller brands who might not have the production budgets of like a L'Oreal all of a sudden can do a shoot for their clothing brand in Paris, but it's done fully through AI. So I think that's going to, well, it really
And that
has.
advert costs a few $1,000s rather than $50,000 and having to get the whole
Exactly.
team over to Paris or over to
That's it.
Dubai or etc.
Yeah, so much quicker. And so, and if something's not right, you can just tweak it in AI and then generate the image again. So it's completely democratized content creation. And, I feel like we're only just at the beginning of that.
Well, Bella was saying the other day on the Riverside software that we use for these podcasts that I think it was it me and with her voice.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's or was it a video of you with my voice?
It was your voice, but like I can control it.
There you go.
unbelievable. Yeah.
That's God, you sound like a wife.
But then you have the deep fakes,
That's right.
So then it's like, it's that I think is a little bit scary because I could easily just clone my voice and do a digital twin of myself. And then eventually it's like, you might just be interviewing digital twins of people. Like, and it could be your digital twin interviewing another digital twin. Like,
Well,
it's
there was an example given yesterday of a guy who produced a podcast, and within 15 minutes, it went out to the world in something like 30 different languages. Yeah, so it's just straight away down, all done in all different, from Arabic to French to Spanish or Chinese or Mandarin, just in all different languages. And basically, within half an hour, it was launched. And if I clicked on it in Germany, it would come up in German.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's interesting too because you could see where his mouth and lips moved differently, so it didn't look like one of those old episodes of Monkey Magic. So,
Iconic show though. I love Monkey Magic.
fantastic show.
Yeah, they don't make that
Loved
like
Monkey
that.
Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then imagine, so that's sort of where we see AI at the moment, where it can take you do this podcast in English in a couple of minutes, translate it to German, and it looks
Yep.
like and sounds like we're talking German. But then you've got people like Elon Musk with Neuralink. You've got Sam Altman, who's just invested in technology that is going to be potentially plugged into your brain, like attached to you, and he calls it the merge, where it's almost like humans and robots are like kind of almost like merging into one. Because have you seen The Matrix? So if I said to you, I could like put this little plug on your body or something, and you could all of a sudden learn or know how to speak fluent Spanish in 5 minutes, whatever it is, like all of a sudden it's like that's just democratized knowledge. Like, and so there's going to be a lot of pressure to go, okay, the baseline of knowledge is now significantly higher. How do you then stand out? Because that's what it's coming to. And I look at The Matrix, and they were so ahead of their time with like literally plugging in how to do kung fu and speak whatever language or fly a helicopter. Like that's actually probably going to be possible in our lifetime, I would say.
But how many futuristic movies have become reality? And I actually remember watching the movie Gattaca with Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman in it.
Yes. Was that gender selection?
Yes, but it was selection based on. So basically, they were the last generation to actually just be born normal, whereas everyone else was born super intelligent. So they could actually, choose you basically your fetus and have this super intelligent child. So, and basically all that generation that just missed out on that ended up just becoming cleaners and janitors whilst everyone else is going up to space, etc. So it's so it was actually, and that would have come out roughly around about the 1996 mark, because I remember watching it and my now nearly 29-year-old was just born.
Wow.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, what happens if he's that last generation?
Oh no.
And I remember dreading that because all of a sudden, 96, all of a sudden we had the internet and it's just like,
Yeah.
wow, this is just so. I mean, absolutely nothing today compared to the computers we all carry around in our handbags and
Yeah.
pockets. But it's just like, but what happens if that's him? So I'll die, so it doesn't matter. But he has to live an entire life.
Yeah.
And of course, you want so much for your children and things like that as well. So, but it is interesting that a lot of movies do end up becoming reality.
Yeah.
To some extent.
It's like these visionaries can see the future, but the way they express it isn't by creating technology. They do it through creative
Or they give an
means.
idea of what the future could look like, and
Oh,
somebody
someone
else
makes
says,
it. Yeah,
"Wow,
that's true. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
really good
I
point.
haven't thought of that. This is something that we can actually do." So
Yeah.
it will be interesting because I did once have a Spanish girlfriend. We dated for about 3 months, and she could hardly speak English, and all I could say was "Hola and uno cerveza, por favor," which didn't help because I don't drink.
So that would be perfect for that relationship.
Oh yeah, it was great. Yeah,
Or
so
even
it's
AI now. You could have just spoken through like Google. Like I think.
yes, and her father did own a chocolate factory, so I did enjoy going over
Oh,
there.
that's
And
great.
oh yeah, especially I did have a sweet tooth, still do.
But now, even like video conferencing technology, you could actually be a fluent Spanish speaker. I could be a fluent English speaker, and we can now have our conversation in real time translated. As you're talking, I can hear it as if it's English, and it's crazy. Like that's amazing.
Yep. No, and it is, and once again, then it's the people who teach languages, how they pivot.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's it.
how does Ellie, who teaches me Chinese, how does she pivot?
Yeah.
So it's because I can just have something in my and just talk normally and
Yeah.
have it interpreted.
That's it. Yeah. Isn't that
Yeah. So
crazy?
it's and realize that I can't just walk around Spain saying "Uno cerveza, por favor." Sorry, no thanks, I don't drink. It's but anyway. But influencer marketing was the big thing, so it's seemed to be bikini shot, then bikini shot with a handbag, then bikini shot, then bikini shot with a watch. So it's so influencer marketing, made a lot of attractive people wealthy for a few minutes, or famous even for a few minutes. But where do you see that going? Is that something that's just going to, or basically we can just have AI avatars now who look unbelievably real as the next influencer on that watch, as advert as an example. So
Yeah.
where do you see that going? Is it still powerful, or is it just somebody getting lots of likes nowadays, but not powerful in respect to trying to sell that watch or handbag anymore?
I mean, influencers is interesting because social media allowed the average person to build a following and build influence, whereas previously it was just celebrities. So all of a sudden, the average person could get a deal with a watch company or could get a deal with Louis Vuitton, where previously it was, either you had to be amazing in your field at, say, sport, for example, or a Hollywood celebrity. And so I think it democratized that ability to create content and share content, build a following, which I think is.
Did that make advertising cheaper as well for those brands? Or especially for a brand that was starting out because they don't have to pay a Brad Pitt to show the watch on the advert,
It
or
definitely probably made create
I'm a
content.
big fan of Brad Pitt, by the way, but
Creation.
it's, it's
Well, I think it made content creation uh, by real people using the product
yeah.
definitely more accessible. But there's a lot of influencers now. So back in the day when we were starting out, there was virtually it was like the dawn of influencers. Like this was, very, very long time ago, probably like 10 years ago. Influencers was still barely a thing. Whereas now you've got influencers that have 5,000 followers that are like, here's my rate card. I want this. Here's usage. They're almost like become models, like, the way that models charge themselves, which, I completely understand. Like, it takes time to create content, it takes time to build a following, to engage with your community, but it's become very transactional. Whereas I think once upon a time, people would just share products because they liked it. And like, a brand that they genuinely liked, sent them something. So it's very transactional now. I think people can kind of see through that. So the the ones that aren't, I guess, conscious or selective about what they take and promote, because it's really easy to tell if someone's just doing something for the dollar and they don't genuinely use it. So yeah, but I think it's very different now. And then you talk about AI influencers, that in itself is going to be very interesting. That's something that we're working on with clients at the moment, like developing AI influencers. And I think that's going to be something that I think,
Can you expand on that a little bit more? So, are we
uh,
talking about building an avatar or
yeah,
just a
building an avatar,
yeah?
and having that either represent a brand or be like an ambassador for the brand. And so that I think is going to be the future. And it's funny because people think, well, how is that going to get people to connect with them? And I mean, once upon a time, we never thought we could connect with people through a screen. And how many people do we, it's like either like celebrities like that we've maybe watched movies, but when you follow someone and you feel like you know them just because you've seen their content and you've never met them in real life, it's just through literally the content they're putting out. Like, so it is possible to make connections with people that you've never seen before and you might never meet in your life. And so then it's like that step further where it's like, I guess, like a synthetic person, the person doesn't exist. I still think people will be able to form connections to them. So, even with ChatGPT, I remember when I first started using it, and I still to this day, I'm really nice to it. Like because and it sort of started being nice to me. Like it would say, "Good luck for this," or well done on this," and I'm like, "Oh, it feels like a person. Like I can't just be mean to it." So it's already almost like training me to feel like it's a real life thing. That if I'm rude to it, it might be rude back to me. So
Oh, my car's rude to me. She, in a female voice, and she talks to me very rudely nowadays. It's just like, Mercedes is like, what do you want? It's like, you never pay attention to me anyway. I told you to turn left. So it's just like, hold on.
a lot of personality.
It is.
Funny though.
Yeah, so, hey, Mercedes, where should I go now? I think you should go home, Tony. Please.
But that's fun though. I think it's and the technology will get more and more sophisticated where you'll be able to have like a funny conversation, or you'll be able to say, "Where should I go? I'm feeling like a matcha. I'm currently in this suburb. Like, tell me where I should go. Like, what's open now that hasn't."
Well, just very simple things like I jump in, it knows I'm in the car park next door, and straight away it just shows me the route home, the best route home.
Amazing.
It's just like, maybe I don't want to go home tonight.
Maybe I've got a life.
Exactly. So it's like, well, how dare you? So it's,
but that's like technology making your life easier, which is pretty cool.
yeah, it does make your life easier, but it also gets to the point where if it helps you not have to think about things or remember things, I think sometimes it can actually make your brain, it's a lot easier, but it can make your brain a lot lazier. And the reason why I say this is, once upon a time, you used to have that little black book, and have everyone's name and phone numbers in there. And then the people you didn't like anymore, you had scribbled out. Or you just remembered, my best friend growing up, Renee, 9375 1165.
Is Renee's phone number out live on air?
No, he doesn't live there anymore.
Oh, okay.
So it's
he gets all these prank calls.
no, Renee doesn't live there anymore. So it's so he they moved out of Brewster Street probably 30 years ago. So it's Brewster Street, Essendon. But it's but that's an example. I can remember all of my telephone numbers. But what's interesting, I could not tell you what my son's mobile numbers are. It's just Josh or Jeremy. And Jeremy's quite simple because he never picks up anyway. So why would I try to remember his phone number? Try to ring him, no answer. Try to ring him, no answer. 6 seconds later, Dad, what do you want? Can you pick up the phone? It's,
in a way, we have access to so much more information than ever before. So I guess it's good to free up our brain space for something that you might think of that you've heard on a podcast, like, Driver CEO. And that piece of information can stay in your brain instead of something that might not be as relevant, potentially. I'd be interested to know, like, do you feel like because I was talking about this the other day, like I really try and simplify my life so I have to make minimal decisions every day. So like I have one black belt, I have one brown belt, I have one black bag in like a large size, one black bag in a small size. And so I've actually just tried to make everything as easy as possible. And I work out what I'm going to wear the day before. So I'm not sitting there trying to work out, which black dress or what pinstripe outfit to wear. But
what pinstripe suit will Tony wear today? I shall wear the same.
What are you wearing? But it's interesting. Then I realized, like, I've actually tried to minimize the amount of decisions I have to make in my life because there's just so many things you need to do, especially as a founder. Like people asking you questions to make decisions, and so I actually realized over time I'm just trying to make my life as easy as possible because it's hard, I think. So all these little things you can simplify.
I 100% agree with you. I have
60 ties, though.
I have 60 ties, 33 suits, and all my business shirts all lined up. All my suits are color coded.
Wow. Okay.
All the way through. So it's you'll never see me wear the same suit twice in 1 week.
Wow,
so predominantly white shirts, white business shirts. I know that a wider collar suits me because I have a fat face. So it's I know the ties, and once again, thank you, David Hobber, for telling me I'm fat. I think because I want the tie a little bit longer than normal. But I think the key is that, once again, the night before everything's done. So when I wake up in the morning, I know everything that I'm doing, everything's prepared. I just get it done, and there's no thinking about it. And I wake up early every morning. I'll probably wake up the entire neighborhood because I have the gym in my garage. But it's just more the fact of that. By doing that in the morning, I don't have to think, and the time's to myself.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are all those things, and as soon as the alarm goes off, I wake up straight away. I'm out, and I'll do my breath work. I'll do my meditation, and that just sets me up to be able to do it. Once I do that, you're in that pattern. You know your body knows what's next, your brain knows what's next, and it just gets it done.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so it's really, and it's really easy when living by myself doing that. But if you're living with somebody else, all of a sudden it's like, do you have to make so much noise in the morning? Yeah, no, my house. so Josh, if you're listening to this is why I don't know if you should come and live back with me again.
Yeah, no, I think once you live by yourself, if you like it, it's hard to bring someone into your
I've really
space.
become used to it, and I'm actually quite enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it's what's next for you and Codi Agency? Any new ventures that you can talk about or not talk about? So it's so what's next for you guys now?
We're definitely moving down the AI path. So just helping our clients navigate that space. So looking at even like how they rank on large language models like your Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. So I feel like AI is really, for me personally, I find it super exciting because now it's like, ooh, new things that we can do for our clients. Because eventually, you were saying before, you had to film the video of yourself after you just got back from holiday. But eventually we could have a digital twin of you that's trained on your voice, trained
Sunburn.
on your movements, not sunburn. We could change his outfit to anything that you want to. He could be like in grey suit one day, navy the next. He could match.
And that's 10 kilos lighter, which I'm trying to get to.
There you go. Yeah. We can make him look like whatever you want. He can be sitting wherever you want. He could be sitting in the Vatican. He could be on the steps of the Eiffel Tower, but like that's kind of where it gets to. So that means that you can focus on all the work that we need to do, and we can just do the script. You approve the script, and then we just do a million videos using you, but you haven't had to do any time in actually recording that content. You could be on holiday, like it could be in the Bahamas, sunning on yourself on the beach, and we can just kind of create that content. So I think that for me, I personally find that exciting because then that could extend to your content, your own personal content. So all of a sudden we could be putting out content which you would still say, you don't have to sit there and actually say it. So that sort of stuff's like super exciting for me.
That could be disappointing though. Not for me, but for anyone who meets me in real life. You look so much better in those videos. Yeah, it's not me. You were a lot fitter and thinner. Yes, I was. Sitting on that beach in the Bahamas.
You're honestly though, like you told me something that was quite like, sorry, I shouldn't say quite impressive. It was bloody impressive about how you got the record for doing an Ironman in 4 different decades.
Youngest person in the world.
Youngest person, yeah.
For having done it, yeah. So didn't have to win, didn't have to have an impressive time, just had to get across the finish line.
That is so impressive because the last leg, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, the last leg of an Ironman is a marathon. So marathon in itself, people train for, and that's really bloody hard. But that's the last leg, and
after 180k warm up on the bike.
And can I tell you, there's one of the hardest things I've done physically is I did the BRW like back years and years ago. Going from the bike to the run, your legs feel like cement. And so to go from the bike to the run, then have to run a marathon, that is like hats off to you. That's very, very.
This is one of the things, because I was coaching for quite some time too, but it's one of the things we do what's called your brick sessions. A brick session is when you get off the bike straight away and you put your runners on and you run. And so that brick session, the reason why they're called brick sessions is because your legs feel like brick.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is. It's like all that lactic acid. So yeah.
It's all that rhythm and melody. And the idea of brick sessions is that what I call rhythm melody starts to join you for the run a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because you get more used to it.
Yeah.
So it's but no, it was many, many kilos ago now, Lisa.
It's not very interesting because we were talking when we originally started chatting, we were talking about swimming, how we both used to do swimming.
You both swimmer, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we need to have a race, but I will draft behind Grant Hackett if that's possible. So
Grant, I don't think is actually. I think the idea of getting back in the water makes him dry reach at the moment. But
Oh,
it's
really? So he's not swimming?
no, but it doesn't mean he still wouldn't absolutely smash us.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
100%. 100%. We need like literally for a 100-meter race, I'd need like a 90-meter handicap. It's
yeah, and still get to dive in.
and he absolutely still beat me.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that interview that you did with him because I grew up watching like a lot of the Aussie swimmers and just super impressive, like the dedication. I never had that, like, you know?
Well, you really go into depth on he's doing a fireside chat for a group that I'm part of in October, but you go into depth of how much research that he did on Kieran Perkins. So everything, what time was Kieran Perkins doing at this age? What, so everything he did was based on, because Kieran Perkins was the greatest in the world. I think he's about 5 years older than Grant. So there was this real rivalry between the two of them for a brief period in swimming, but a real rivalry in respect to I want to be better than what Kieran was when I turned 15. I want to be better than what he was when he was 15. So he analyzed, and you can see why he's such a great CEO, because he's a lovely, lovely, lovely bloke. He's so personable to meet and things like that. But on top of that, you can see why he's such a great CEO, because he gets the best out of his team at all times as well. And that's just his personality. And you can see why he became, I mean, it wasn't just based on obviously skill and natural talent, has a lot to do with it. And, he had good genes in respect to his height, etc. as well. But on top of that, though, it was just his dedication. So if I had the dedication that Grant had, I still would not have won 3 Olympic gold medals and had all these world records, but I would have been better than what I was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So and I had a lot of
Totally.
dedication, but I still would have been better.
Yeah. Well, I think to be the best of all, you have to have natural ability and obviously physically, naturally, whatever the sport entails. But then you have to have that almost like obsessive personality and dedication to train at that elite level. And so it's like you pretty much you can't be the top unless you have both. It can't just be one or the other.
It was interesting. I had my coach once, I would have been 15, 16 at the time. So I was a freestyle butterfly, as you know. And he said to me, I'm actually going to enter you into the 200 butterfly race. He said, I actually think you've got the stamina for it. And I think you actually do really well in it. And I did win the race, but I got out of the pool probably within around about a minute of getting out the pool. I was vomiting.
Jesus.
And I didn't really have much to vomit. And my coach came to talk to me whilst I was puking. And I said, if you ever make me do a 200 butterfly, again, I'm changing coaches. That was the worst experience of my life. I felt like I had a piano on my back for 50 meters, that last 50 meters. Couldn't breathe. And I remember just cursing in my head that last 50 meters, thinking, they're all going to pass me. Because I was a sprinter, 50, 100 butterfly. I went out just normally, and when I thought they're all going to pass me, I'm going to finish last. I still ended up winning, but it was just like,
Good on you though. Like you left nothing in the tank, and that's all you can do. You know, when
no,
you're
well,
racing.
it was either that or drowning.
Yeah.
No, that's how I felt. I figure, yeah, drowning's not a good look.
Yeah. Well, you won, so well done.
Yeah. No, I liked my blue ribbons. So it was okay. Let's talk about you. If you can redefine. So this last question before we get into some quick fire questions for you. Questions without notice, but it's so if you could redefine one aspect of the marketing industry, what would it be and why?
That's a hard one.
Mm.
Hmm.
You don't have to be politically correct.
Yeah, it'd have to be something around some sort of not integrity test, but there's just a lot of bad people in the industry who just make
I
up
think in
stuff.
all industries, to be honest.
True, yeah, just to get clients, and
Yeah.
that really does not sit well with me.
Yeah.
Like even if we were the red or down to our last dollar, it's like I just wouldn't do it. Like it doesn't sit right. So I think something that it's like I don't know if it's like a board of ethics or something, but I just feel bad. Like I would never take someone's money if I didn't believe we could genuinely help them. But unfortunately, well, it's like that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that financial planning's in the press again. It was on 60 Minutes, and there's actually only 12 groups in all of Australia that were involved in that, and it was basically all done through telemarketing, which is actually illegal to do.
Yeah.
It is illegal to do telemarketing in financial services in this country.
Yeah, it tarnishes the whole industry.
But it was just like the whole thing was just a scam, but it was done by people who were authorized representatives in our industry.
Yeah.
And as a result, the whole industry, it's just been put back 10 years,
Yeah.
as a result, which I think is really sad. But it's the same as you said, it doesn't matter what, it's the 1% of priests or the bad eggs in your industry or the bad eggs in mine. There's always that 1% that can actually really ruin.
Yeah, the tarnish.
Exactly right. Exactly. So that's very true. Okay, some quick fire questions. Who's your AFL footy team?
Oh, Melbourne.
I don't think I've had Melbourne before, but I know Peter Truran will say Melbourne. So I know he's a mad Demons supporter. So it's why the Demons?
I had a school teacher in grade 2 and I loved her. She went for the Demons.
So it's always got to do something with love. That's good. So my year 2 school teacher was Sister Melania. I don't know who she supported, but she was really quick with the cane. So it's once again corporal punishment days. Okay, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
Go on my phone. Check my Aura Ring data. I've just got an Aura Ring.
Yep. Okay.
Bad.
Yeah. So
Tells me how badly I slept.
keep waking up. How am I sleeping? Yeah, they can become addictive. I've got the whoop. So it's I've had it for about 5 years now. So I'm a little bit more used to it. Yeah, but it actually has been really good of tracking things. Coffee or green smoothie in the morning?
Ooh, I do bone broth. I don't drink coffee because I have an addictive personality, but I'm obsessed with bone broths.
Okay.
Yep, and matcha. Yeah.
Very healthy. Very, very healthy. It's hard to get matcha at the moment. Low supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good matcha anyway.
Yeah.
What's one book every entrepreneur should read?
Ooh, That Will Never Work by Mark Randolph. He's the co-founder of Netflix. Very,
Yeah.
very good. Yeah. Good business lessons, but done in a engaging way because it's a story of how Netflix came to be.
I still remember, once again, giving away my age, I still remember Netflix when you had to download the movie. It could take up to an hour to download, depending on your internet speed. I said, I'm just going to Blockbuster. That'd be so much quicker. So it's got buffering on that old internet. If you weren't in business, what would you actually be doing? Don't say tax law.
Definitely not tax law.
Yeah.
I'd love to do fashion, but I don't think I'd be suited that.
I sewed a button back on my suit the other day. I was so proud of myself. Usually I just throw the suit out and get another one. No, I just throw this button back on.
I'd say I would be a chick lit writer. So I'd write like chick lit, yeah, like romantic, that.
Okay, we'll talk off air on that one. So it's I'll share a secret with you that I don't want to share with my audience.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's who's one Aussie entrepreneur you really admire right now?
Oh, Grace Brown from Andromeda. She just raised, she's Series A, $23 million. She's, I think, 30 years old, and she's creating robots that are in aged care facilities, and they're using AI, and they've become like companions for them. So unbelievable.
How wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my mum would still tell off that robot. It's most underrated skill in business.
Geez, that's a hard one. I feel like a lot of people would say resilience, so I don't want to say that. I would say the ability to think outside the square, because that will help you see opportunities in the market.
And so what's interesting too, you speak about your Aura Ring, it's having those wonderful mornings for me means it sets me up for a great day, which means I don't get stressed, which means I don't walk past opportunities.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Sometimes there's some opportunities I should just walk past, but you benefit of hindsight. It's a benefit of hindsight, but you set yourself up for a great morning. If I set myself up for a great morning, at least I set myself up for a really good day. Yeah. So it's, which is actually, I make good decisions. Yeah. So, and I don't stop and get a chocolate bar on the way home, which is the next question. What's your guilty pleasure after a long week of work?
Chocolate, for sure. I love chocolate.
Yeah.
Watching
So it's,
crime shows and listening to Sex and the City podcasts.
okay. Crime shows I like. So I haven't listened to Sex and the City podcasts. But you never know. I might after today. So, biggest pet peeve in a pitch?
Oh, if I'm pitching to someone, or
Or someone's pitching to you?
Interesting. They don't read the room. That is a bad one. And I would say I've been in rooms where this is probably like the other way around, but I've been in rooms pitching to men with a male with me, and even if I'm the founder of the company, they just completely ignore me because I'm the female.
Yeah,
That gives me the shits.
I found that I was a young fella working in the corporate superannuation space, and one of the largest law firms in Australia in this specialty area, so I won't mention their name. And I was there to pick up their corporate superannuation fund, and I knew I was right there, but there was just something missing. And I was pitching to their board, and I was only mid-20s at the time, and everyone I was pitching to were in their 60s.
Wow.
So my father was in this industry many years ago, but he had retired at that stage. So I officially went on the ASIC website, registered him as the chairman of the company, and I actually brought him with me. And they would ask him, because he knew nothing about corporate superannuation, but he said that to me, and he's a very passive, sort of softly spoken, lovely man, but true English gentleman, navy blue suit, red tie, white shirt, grey hair, lovely, lovely man. And I said, two things, Dad. Every question pivot to me to answer, and none of your jokes. Those are the two rules. But
just thinking outside the square.
But he came in with me, and we got authority to proceed after that meeting. And they asked him every question, and virtually every answer was, "That is a great question, Tony. What do you think?"
Yeah, love it.
And virtually it was the same answer every single time. And but
Perfect.
they kept asking him. He kept
Isn't that
pivoting to me
ridiculous?
in some
Yeah.
way. I kept answering. They looked
Yeah.
at him and said, "Michael, wonderful, thank you. Let's
bias.
proceed." And it was just like,
Yep.
and I just walked out and said, "Well done, Michael. Thank you."
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so it was very interesting. Yep, that's okay. Early mornings or late nights?
I would say early mornings, but not too early.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I was going to send one message.
Yep. This is the tech world. And I'm going to finish on this last question then. Finish this sentence. Success is?
Different for everyone.
Great answer. Loved it. Loved it. Lisa, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
We finally got it recorded after just chatting. So
Thank
wonderful.
you so much. I loved it.
Your team will be so proud of both of us.
Thank you so much, Bella, as well.
The Kofkin Bond podcast is a product from Kofkin Bond and Company, which we are an authorized representative of Count Financial. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional, finance, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Before making any financial decision, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. Do not take financial advice from the podcast. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the Kofkin Bond website, or you can find resources on the ASIC website and find a registered financial professional near you. In the spirit of reconciliation, Kofkin Bond & Co. and the hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today.